Lesson we're going to be talking about percent of change, and for our warm-up we're going to solve each of these proportions, and this is an important warm-up to do because solving proportions will actually help us with percent of change. And so real quickly do each of these, pause the video, and then when you're done unpause them to check your answers. So in this first one, remember the way we solve proportions is to cross multiply and then set the two answers equal to each other. So when I cross multiply one way, I get 4 times the quantity of f minus 4 equals 8 times 7, which is 56. So on the left side of this, I distribute, and I get 4 times f, which is 4f. 4 times negative 4 is negative 16 equals 56. Then I'm going to add 16 to each side, and I get 4f equals 72. And then I divide each side by 4. And when I do that, I get 18. F equals 18. And I'm not going to go through all the work in the second one as well. I'm just going to tell you B equals negative 3. There's your answer. Go ahead and do the work to check it. And if you're still confused, I can help you later. But today we're going to be talking about percent of change. Okay? There are two different ways we can have percent change. We can have a percent increase and a percent decrease. And here is our formula to find the percent of change. We take the amount of change divided by the original amount, and that equals the percent of change over 100. Alright, this percent of change, okay, that is written as a percent. We don't want it written as a decimal. We want to write that as an actual percent over 100. And you should remember, percents, we write them over 100. But this formula is very important. It's going to help you do these problems. So if we look at our first example, we want to determine whether it's an increase or decrease and then find the percent of change. In our first problem, we start with 20 and we end with 23. So obviously we know it's going to be an increase, but the first thing I need to know is the amount of the change. And I know I'm going to put that over my original number. And that's going to equal my percent over 100. And I can fill in two of these values right away. How much did I change from 20 to 23? Well, I went 3 up, so the amount of change was 3. Over, what was my original? 20 equals my percent, which I don't know, so I'm going to put x over 100. We're always going to be looking for the percent. The percent is always going to be x. Then we're just going to solve this like any other proportion. We're going to cross multiply and then set equal. 20 times x gives me 20x equals 3 times 100, which is 300. Then I'm just going to do 300 divided by 20, and I get x equals 15. So what was the percent increase? It was a 15% increase because it went up. Now in our second one, our original was 25, the final was 17. Here our change, we're going down 8. Still write it as a positive number. It's fine to write as a positive number. We changed 8 over my original of 25. That's going to equal x over 100. Then I'm going to go ahead and solve this proportion by cross multiplying and setting equal to each other. And then I'm going to divide each side by 25, and I find out that x is 32, which means we had a 32% decrease because the number went down. These problems are actually quite simple because all you have to do is find the change. You plug in the change into the formula into the correct spot, which is always the top left, and then you set up a proportion and you solve the proportion. And solving proportions is fairly straightforward because that's what we did in the previous lesson. So the hardest part is getting it set up. Once you get it set up, you just have to solve the proportion.